Brandon, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thanks for having me.
So I think a lot of folks recognize your name because you were the target of a lot of negative campaign ads. After experiencing what you experienced, do you see any room for campaign finance reform? Do you believe that needs to happen?
Well, the biggest thing coming into this campaign is we ran as clean a campaign as you possibly could. We didn't go negative on anybody. And really, it wasn't until the last 3 or 4 weeks of the campaign that just out of nowhere, we saw these big DC swamp super PACs starting to come after me. And they didn't go after anybody else, and they didn't prop up anybody else. It was a little odd. But all in, they spent, I think, $2.1 or $2.2 million in attack ads against me. So they were on the radio, they were on broadcast and cable TV, they were sending text messages, they were dropping mail. I mean, it was utterly ubiquitous. So, that's what you kind of expect. That's what you expect whenever you're the Trump-backed candidate. You expect people to come after you. Trump is dealing with that right now, so that's part of the game. But I think we handled it well. Like I said, we stayed positive in our campaign and just fought back with the truth, really. And I think we did a good job of it. So,
talk to me about who do you believe was responsible then for the negative campaigns against you?
I think that these were some of the never Trumper big Nikki Haley fans. And for a long time, I think Nikki Haley's campaign has been dead in the water. She's never really taken off. And I think at a certain point, they realized that. They realized that she was going nowhere. So what they started to do was look at Trump-backed candidates across the country. From what we've seen, they've spent more money in my race than we've seen anywhere else. So I must have been right at the top of their list there. Over $2 million. I mean, just think about it. Over $2 million in a congressional primary prior to a runoff when there's 11 people in the field. I mean, that's pretty unusual. So I think that these were people who are trying to go after Trump, and they knew that Trump's going to be the nominee. And so they looked to take out his candidates, and they failed miserably in this case.
You still have a general ahead of you, but you did get out of the primary without a runoff, and your district is very Republican friendly. So what will your agenda be if you do win in November? What will the people in your district look for?
Well, the people in my district are looking for solid, across-the-board constitutional conservatives, and that's what I'm going to do. Of course, as you would expect, the border is the #1 issue right now, far and away. That's what people are focused on. We've had over 10 million illegal aliens flood into the country under President Joe Biden over the past few years. And I think that people are looking first and foremost for border security, to finish building the wall, to reform our asylum laws, to bring back Remain in Mexico, to bring back, in other words, all of the policies that were in place under President Trump that Biden got rid of basically on day one. And once we've secured the border under President Trump, and we know that's going to be a major priority for him, we need to begin looking at deportations of the illegal aliens that Joe Biden brought into the country. I know that's a major priority for President Trump. It's a major priority for my district. It's a major priority for me. And I'm going to be standing with President Trump every step of the way to do that.
Would you have voted for the bill that Republican Senator James Lankford negotiated?
I would not.
Why?
No. Here's how I see the immigration battle that we're in right now. The Republicans want border security. We want a secure border. We want to have a sovereign nation. And the Democrats, I believe, are intentionally flooding this country with illegal aliens to create a voting bloc, a bloc of people that they believe will vote for Democrats perpetually. And they're trying to destabilize our society to create a crisis for big government to step in and solve. I think that that's why we're in this position right now. So in other words, whenever we're debating immigration, I don't think that we're sitting on opposite ends of a negotiating table with somebody who's operating in good faith. I think that the border crisis, obviously right now, is intentionally manufactured by the Biden administration. In other words, it's the result of deliberate policy decisions that Joe Biden and the left have made. And if we know that, you don't sit down and negotiate with somebody who's operating in bad faith. So I think that what James Lankford did, I think is frankly a disgrace. I think that we need and the people in my district are looking for real border security and real solutions, and that's what I'm going to be pushing for.
Some would say the border issue goes back to long before Democrats were in charge. Do you believe that's true?
I do actually believe that's true. I think that now what we've seen under Joe Biden is far, far worse than we've had in the past. But to be clear, we've had a border crisis for decades now. And the problem is, in reality, it's the uniparty. It's Republicans want cheap labor and Democrats want voters. Now, that problem has been exacerbated 10 times under Joe Biden because he has been so shameless in creating this crisis to a degree that we've never seen in American history. But you're right, we've had a border crisis for a long time.
Another policy question I have for you that would affect Texans. Let's talk about abortion. Would you be in favor of a nationwide ban on abortion? Do you believe there should be exceptions for rape or incest and unviable pregnancies, like we've seen women who were told your fertility could be at risk if you carry it forward and they've left the state?
Listen, I'm 100% pro-life. My wife and I have been involved in the pro-life movement for quite a long time. In fact, my wife wrote a book about the pro-life issue. In fact, it's called The Choice, and she goes through and systematically debunks arguments that the pro-abortion crowd have made. So I'm entirely pro-life. I think that should be a priority for the Republican Party. But right now, I think the biggest issues that we're facing are, like I said, the border and fighting Joe Biden.
Would you vote for a nationwide ban?
I would take a look at it.
One of the other issues that is hot right now is TikTok. What do you believe? Should TikTok be banned in America? Should the Chinese owners be forced to sell it?
I think TikTok, first and foremost, is a disgrace in this nation. It is a cultural poison, to be very clear. It's poisoning our youth. It has an unabashedly negative impact on the country. Now, whether a ban makes sense right now, I think is a much bigger question and depends on the specifics of the legislation being proposed and exactly what we're looking at. You know, you never want the solution to be worse than the problem, and that's what we need to pay really close attention to here.
You still have to get through November. What is your general election campaign going to look like?
Listen, I think it'll be a continuation of what we've been doing. We're going to be out in the district as much as we possibly can, meeting with every single voter that we can. We're going to be listening to what the people of Texas 26 are looking for, and we're going to be trying to serve them in every way we can. We're feeling really good about November. This is a conservative district, as you mentioned. This is Trump country. President Trump endorsed me. I think that's what the people of Texas 26 are looking for, so we're feeling really good.
You going to try to bring Trump to town?
I'd love it if President Trump would come to town.
Brandon Gill, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.